Hi there, this is Dr. John Whitcomb starting a series on plasmalogens. What are plasmalogens? That's a very interesting question because it's really what makes our cells work. Plasmalogens are the key lipids typically present in 10 to 20% of the content of a cell membrane. Your body is made of 30 trillion cells. Each cell has its own wall, its own membrane. It's enclosed in a membrane. And that membrane is made of what are called phospholipids. And the reason phospholipids work so well, they make a soap bubble automatically because they have one end with that phosphate molecule and the other end with lipids, with straight lipids in them. And the lipids form together because they're fat-seeking and the water-seeking are on the outside. Makes a membrane. Cholesterol makes up about 50% of that membrane. And cholesterol is strong and rigid and inert. So cholesterol is a very useful substance, but it's not chemically very active. But it's like the 2x4 in your wall. Not very interesting, but very strong. Good for structure. Plasmalogens, on the other hand, are very liquid. And what makes them unique is they can shapeshift. They're like little small transformers, which means they allow embedded proteins to change their shape. So if they're next to a protein in the membrane, and that protein needs to change its shape a little bit, the plasmalogen can change its shape with it, facilitating the functionality of the cell. But what makes it a plasmalogen is another feature, and that is a special chemical bond called a vinyl ether bond. And that is an incredible magnet for oxidants. So when your cell gets into trouble and gets into oxidative stress, that basically means there's electrons escaping and getting out of control. Plasmalogens are the first line of defense for the cell. They protect the cell from marauding oxidants. So you've heard about antioxidants. Well, actually plasmalogens are the antioxidant of first resort for your cell. That vinyl ether bond is on the outside of the cell, so it's the first thing that meets the cell, and that protects the cell. The conundrum is that with severe oxidative stress, like a COVID infection or an influenza infection, you deplete millions of plasmalogen molecules and thereby reduce the functionality of your cell. And you see that when you get COVID in the extreme fatigue and brain fog you have. And folks with long COVID have had microglial activation and they can't recover. We're going to get to that as you watch the series. But plasmalogens, summary, they are the functional lipid membrane content of your cell, and they have what allowed us to mature and evolve from single-cell organisms to the wonders that we are as humans. So plasmalogens are the lipids that allow us to become all of that. We're going to talk more about them in our next. This is Dr. John Whitcomb for News and Nutrition. What are plasmalogens? Number 1. Look at number 2.